What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Cultivated Ignorance. I am Will, the host.
I'm like the favorite host.
And we are back on schedule. Go crazy, go crazy, go crazy.
We actually did it.
Yes. We are back like we said we would be.
I told y'all.
See what the next 2 weeks holds. But we're trying here. We're trying to give y'all what y'all want. And all these black and ignorant opinions.
Exactly.
So thank y'all for everybody who's joining us in the new year. We're glad you're here. Yeah. If you haven't, tune into our last episode where we sat down with Ben Anderson, our yearly co-reviewer.
Basically.
We gave our thoughts on kind of just 2022 and everything that happened. Also, you should check out. Ooh, I'm bad, Mike. I'm bad. I don't even have it up.
I know you don't.
But the alley to myself was dope.
But the shots that hasn't been made. Like they're still in the air.
As we talk, I'm making it. Like
the defenders don't got the ball. It's a fast break back down the court. Like it's over with.
All right. So, also, if you want extra stuff, we had another dope conversation with our homie Ben Anderson. But unfortunately, you can only see it through our lovely Patreon.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yep. Patreon.com/cultivated ignorance. We got dope exclusive shit on there. Please tune in. It's only $5.
Only $5.
Only $5. So that OnlyFans subscription you cancel because the price went up. Give that to your boys.
Yeah, exactly. We cheaper than them.
Yeah. And like after you pay the $5, there's no extra messages to unlock.
It's not.
That's it. Yeah, man. So we had a dope conversation with him on there about the manosphere and how it's affecting young men who essentially just kind of live on the internet. So definitely sign up, give us your $5, and you'll get to see more cool stuff.
Give us your $5. Don't you starting off bad already?
All right. So, like I said, thank you again for joining us. This episode we're going to be talking about how do I want to say this? Okay, we're going to be talking about black moms not wanting to be moms.
It's just parents in general. Don't put it all on one. He's got the word. It's parents in general coming out saying they regret parenthood. I love my kids, but this shit is for the birds. And just find out saying that they regret parenthood.
Yeah, and we're also going to be talking about should black people really be buying black, even though the capitalist system, which we're all, I guess, somewhat forced to be a part of, it still kind of puts people at the bottom in a way. You're still kind of feeding into a system that makes it all efforts to put you at the bottom.
Right.
So is the buy black movement, really good for us? So we first thing we're going to talk about is the moms not wanting to be moms.
Stop putting this on mom.
Parents regretting parenthood. How about that?
There you go.
This conversation sparked from a YouTube video that two dope sisters with a dope podcast have. Podcast is excuse me. Bad moms, good choices. Is that right? Good moms, bad choices.
There you go. I was gonna say,
I'm about to mess it up.
That would be a terrible podcast,
right? Good moms, bad choices. And they sat down with I guess Jessica Rose, and I believe she's a comedian and a few other things. And she was basically expressing how like she kind of regretted motherhood. Like she gave all these lists of reasons as to why and this, that, and the third. And Mike brought up the question, like, what does this really do, right? what were you saying?
My question was, I feel like parents should be able to say how they feel. And parents do say how they feel now. You hear fuck them kids conversations all the time. But like as far as saying it on the internet and saying you're frustrated with your kids is one thing. Like kids know they be being bad. But saying I regret having kids, I love my kids, but I regret having kids. Like what use is that putting that on the internet where not only can it be easily taken out of context, but like your kids can grow up and see it and just I don't know how it would feel if I saw my mom on a talk show saying like, "Yeah, I regret this mother shit is for the birds. I regret this shit, but I love my son." Like, I don't know how I would feel if I heard some shit like that. So, like, what's the usefulness of saying it online on big public platforms? Is my question.
So, what are your feelings as a non-parent? What are your feelings?
As a proud non-parent, boy. um, my feelings are again. I feel like parents should be able to say what they want to say. I don't believe in telling like you shouldn't say like because I had a conversation with my mom about this. I told you like I mentioned it to her. I don't know why I mentioned it to her because my mom got in a tizzy. She was like, how could you ever regret being a parent? It's the greatest gift in the world, and she was just like not hearing it at all. And I was like, Mom, well, they say they love their kids, but it's just like it's just so hard. Like it's just especially if you're a single parent, like it's just so hard. So she started to understand. I understand the sentiment for sure, but like again, I don't think I agree with. And I guess I'm trying to figure out the thin line between. I don't think you should say it online, but also like these parents need other people to connect with. So how do you make that happen if you don't put it out there like that?
Yeah.
I just want the new. I'm okay with it as long as the conversation is as nuanced as possible and there's a lot of care and sensitivity being had.
Well, if people were to see it as like YouTube Shorts, you would get no nuance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the reels and shit were always pitched now.
Right.
I actually 100% agree with it.
Really.
I actually believe, obviously you should have free speech. You should be able to say what you want, but I don't. First thing, this show in particular, this message is not meant for children to see. First off, if a kid catches the straightest, it's going to do damage. It's going to do damage. But I think it was, at least the way I took it was more of just I don't want to say warning shot, but like
what?
It's like watch out, nigga, you gonna be nervous your whole life. But it was just a conversation that people. It was something that people should think about because obviously your time is gonna be restricted. I think people can come to grips with like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be a parent, my time's gonna be restricted. This, that, and the third. Like I'm gonna have to deal with the money aspect, but I don't think people think about the anxiety of like having children. Like it's even when they're like just the anxiety of like not having them around you.
Yeah.
Because like as a parent, I feel like a piece of me is out there in the world.
Yeah.
And I need that piece to be safe.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of nerves, anxiety, all that comes with it. And so I completely agree with her saying it out loud. And I hope even for her child in the future that they could grasp the message. Because I felt like she definitely explained herself enough to where, it shouldn't be taken out of context.
It shouldn't be.
Especially if it goes to an adult audience.
Okay, here's two questions. Number one, is it possible to regret parenthood and still love your kids like endlessly?
Absolutely. I think it's the not regret parenthood, it's the regret having a child, like being responsible for a child.
See, that's what I'm saying. Can you regret being responsible for a child and still love your child? Like, and not want to give your child back?
Maybe regret's the wrong word. Maybe that's the part that's not nuanced enough.
Well, that's the word she's using, is what I mean.
Yeah. She did say if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
But like, we're here now. I feel like it's just like a message to people who are thinking about it or people who are being irresponsible out here with sex and stuff. Like, yes, she said regret, but it's like, I wish I could have done things differently.
But see, the reason I asked the reason I think the question is contradicting because there's coming to peace with something, and then they're saying I regret something. Coming to peace with it means I do wish I could have did things differently, but I have no regrets because this is what brought me to where I am now. Like I can't have if I have a regret, that means I'm still holding on to the past. Like I'm not fully at peace with it because I'm still holding on to the past. If I still regret something, I'm still holding on to this part of the past that I've not let go. And I wonder if that something in the past is allowing you to fully love your child in the present.
I get what you're saying, but if you like, I guess like if you really regretted it, wouldn't you just give them up? Like if you had an opportunity to not be a parent anymore,
No,
an available option.
it's a possibility, but I don't think that's necessarily true because people do things, live with regrets all the time. Like people stay in bad situations because they just don't see a way out all the time. Doesn't mean that they're cool with it. They still regret it, but they just decide they're just gonna sit here and burn.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe you can.
Okay.
I mean, like let's say you're. I guess any little thing could cause you to regret something a little bit, right?
For sure,
But
for
does
sure.
that automatically, does you attaching regret to it automatically mean you love it less in any kind of way?
I think so, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't go on a journey to later on not regret it anymore. But I think so, yes. I think regret keeps you from loving something fully as long as you hold on to it. Yes.
Hmm. All right, we need to write that down for another show.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Does regret cause you to not fully love something?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right there.
That is a good one. Like
That's what I'm saying.
that down, nigga.
Because and this is mostly, from just being deep into spirituality stuff and just the personal inquiry stuff. Like the more I go to like self inquiry, inquire, I'm like, damn, I'm still holding on to this shit. Like even with ex girlfriends, which I thought I was like good on ex girlfriends, because I'm like cordial. I can at least communicate with, I would say like 90% of my ex girlfriends without any issues. But the ones I can't, I'm like, damn, I still got some shit in there that I can't really appropriately converse with them. But the ones that I can, it's like I can freely say like I still love this person. We're good.
Mhm.
Like it won't be any animosity. The other ones I still hold that stuff onto. I'm like, I feel like I can have a cordial conversation with, but like it's like a ticking time bomb because I'm waiting for them to say some shit that they used to say, so I can just blow the fuck up. And I don't think I can be fully whole in my presence with them if I still have that.
You're just an angry black man,
Just angry at black woman. That's what we do.
and you need to lean into that.
Shut up. Oh, okay. The other question I was gonna ask was because you said kids don't need to watch this. Aren't the kids like, well, it depends on the age range for sure, but like aren't the kids vital to the conversation if this is how they feel about as a parent? Like I think if the kid's like a teenager or older to where they can comprehend, like
Yeah,
aren't they vital to that conversation?
I don't know about a teenager. I feel like an adult.
Okay.
Like once you're going through adult shit, like you know what
Mhm.
I mean. And there's no actual age on that, but you know, it's not for kids. But I don't see why they need to be privy to it, like because it does nothing for them. Like if you don't understand the conversation that's being had, what good does it do you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on their comprehension level. But I mean, I know some smart teenagers that could comprehend that conversation. I can know some kind of teenagers that can be like, they can hear their parents say, like, I will never give you back. I love you, unconditionally,
Mhm.
da 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 da. But I do regret being a parent. I do know some teenagers that can comprehend that conversation, but you saying they don't need to hear it at all. I don't know about that. Um, maybe as an
I mean,
adult.
no, I'm saying like if the kid is old enough, even if it is your own kid, they can hear it.
Oh, I thought you said the kids don't need to be involved at all, like that
No,
conversation.
like actual children.
Oh, okay,
If
gotcha.
their kid is a child, no. I think I actually think you should express those feelings
Okay,
when they become an adult.
yeah.
Like if McKenzie's ever in a situation and conversations comes up, I'll be like, McKenzie, I really did not want to be a father, but I appreciate everything it's done for me. And I'll talk about how it's improved me and all this other stuff. but also like the restrictions is placed on me in ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like people need that honest conversation. Like, I agree. Like, parenthood is one of the best gifts in the world.
Yeah.
You just everything ain't free though, you know.
But you know what?
Everything comes to cost.
For sure. But this whole conversation brings up the bigger point, which is that loss of a true sense of community that we don't have, like, at all. Like, most of us don't have like a village of people to help take care of a child. We might have different like friends that, you know, they see the kid and they play with them, jostle them a little bit, give a little bits of advice here and there. But like, we don't have that true sense of like having a child in the neighborhood and the child can just go outside and he would know, they would know all the neighbors know them. Everybody's checking for the child. Everybody's watching over this kid. Like, we don't have that. Most people don't even talk to their neighbors, period. And I think that's the bigger issue is like, we just don't have this true sense of community not because we don't want it, but because there's the way this country got people working so damn much, doing so many things, taking so much burdens on their own that we don't feel like we have time for it.
Do you think that's part of the reason people regret having kids?
Oh, 1,000%.
Because I don't know, man. Like, it's not.
If you had more help with Mackenzie, like if you had like a village of people, not just with just looking at, watching her, making sure she don't die, but I mean like a village of people, like taking care of your whole structural well-being, your whole your whole social economic status didn't even matter because you just had this network of people like constantly giving and you giving to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Help take care of you and this kid. I think a lot more people would love to have kids. 1,000%.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like there's a sense of anxiety that comes along with having a kid because it's your responsibility to raise them to adulthood and make them a decent product in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, and my mom grew up in Saxon homes, like 10 kids. All of them turned out pretty damn good. But like, they did all have that sense of community. So like, it's really hard to argue against what you're saying. You know what I mean? When you have examples like that. But I don't know. I'm sure even for my grandmother, like, shit was stressful as fuck,
Yeah. I'm sure it's still I'm sure it's still a lot. I know it's still a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it would just be alleviated considerably if people had like an actual like something to fall back on. Because you ask the average person like me, the first thing you ask us about having kids in my mind is fucking bills. It's the first thing that shoots off. And
that's like the least of it. Like,
that's what I'm saying, right? Right.
You selfish, nigga. You just selfish.
But it's like not only just bills, but bills, time, like you said, just anxiety.
That time is a motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think, yeah. And that could be a further discussion as well. But yeah, I think that we should come back to that other subject of can you regret something and still love it fully?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, what do you think? Just to put a bow on it, like, what do you think we should do? You think this movement should continue? Like, should it further? Should we get community conversations on niggas regretting being parents?
I mean, you could always have community conversations about parenthood in general because I swear, at least in the people I know, 95% of babies is unplanned. You know what I mean? Via mistake or whatever you want to call it. So, I think more people hearing this opinion, hearing this kind of, life lesson learned would do people a lot of good. It would do people a lot of good. So, but yeah, man, I'm down for furthering the conversation, and it needs to be even more nuanced than she made it. Yeah. Because I felt like she was pretty nuanced, if I'm being honest.
I think so too.
But there's always these different situations and scenarios that people need to hear about. So,
I agree.
Yeah, we just got to get you having kids, and you'll be right in the boat with us.
Can't do it, baby. Because like I said, the first thing I think about is like, damn, who am I even gonna like? Who can I even enjoy their company enough to have kids with? Like,
oh, you've met some.
I've met some, but like, you know me, I'm just
Let us say, ooh, you put a baby in me. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
listen. Everyone's like, you gotta find you a lady that knows that like when you have a sex, just say like I'm about to bust inside you, but neither both of y'all know it ain't serious. But you got to know like you got to find somebody who let you say that to them and then they turn them on and still let you pull out. You know what I mean? You got to know. They got to know the rules.
Me, boy, I would let loose off in that motherfucker.
Well, evidently, we have proof.
All right. Um. Yeah. Wrap it up.
Please, twice.
Right.
Don't worry about feeling nothing. Just don't have babies.
So, one of Mike's favorite artists of all time, one of his favorite, I guess she's an abolitionist, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if she self-proclaims that, but she promotes abolition for sure.
Yeah. She brought up the topic of is black owned. Let me see how she said it. She said, should black ownership be celebrated if it perpetuates black exploitation? And this is all in a Instagram post. You can see it on her page. Should I read this whole thing, Mike?
I think so to put it in the proper context. So
Okay.
Misquote her.
So all this comes from Noname, the rapper, slash abolitionist slash whatever. You can catch her on Instagram.
Like this.
I was trying to figure out one more thing to say, and none of it was positive. So she be lighting niggas up on the internet.
She do. She come up over your ass, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You can catch her on Instagram at No Name Hiding. So the post begins, I'm sorry, but black owned isn't the liberation we think it is. Over the excuse me, I'm sorry. I forgot I'm in studios. Over the last few years, black people have dealt with economic crisis, environmental devastation, racist state violence, a global pandemic, etc. Despite this, many black-owned businesses have experienced a renewed interest from consumers. We want blackness, a commodity that was consistent under plantation economy, bought and sold to the highest bidder. In this current stage in human history, we have bended to new rules of capitalism. No longer is blackness something to be commodified and owned exclusively by a wealthy capitalist class. We can all have a piece. Black American culture is one of the biggest exports this country has. Our art, music, dance, ideas, etc. create billions for TikTok, Twitter, Warner, Disney, and unfortunately, this list is almost endless. It makes sense that we as black people would see this exploitative dynamic and naturally want to change it. Shouldn't we be the ones who profit most from our culture? The answer should be an immediate resounding yes, but I'm struggling to get there. For me, black culture, under ideal non-capitalist circumstances, should be able to exist without the pressure or desire to profit from it. Unfortunately, our society is framed around workers and owners, and this social contract has negatively impacted black communities the most. My issue with black owned is that it replicates the same capitalist business practices as any other business. The owners make all the decisions and profit while the workers work. Sound familiar? Should black ownership be celebrated if it perpetuates black exploitation? Her opinion? No owner of any business is able to make a profit without the labor of many others. This hierarchy of owner over worker needs to stop. It's rooted in egoism and white conditioning. Please let it go. Next time you see black owned, ask if it is collectively owned. Ask would they consider becoming a worker cooperative. The only difference between a white-owned business and a black-owned business is that one of them is branded as liberation. Until we as black folks practice radical unity in all aspects of life, including business, we will never be free. She's not with the shits.
At all, whatsoever. You want to go first?
No, you got it.
So, my first thoughts were, I agreed with the sentiment, of course, like because black people do be trying to like LLC them, the way. What is the quote? We can't LLC.
I've heard you say this like for a few years now. Like we trying to LLC their way, or everybody want to open up an LLC.
Because that's what people do. That's what the first thing people tell you as soon as they see as soon as you talk about poverty, the first thing they say is start a business. Generational wealth, blah blah blah, which is all cool, which is all great. But I mean, black capitalism is still just capitalism and blackface. That's at the end of the day. Again, it has its pluses, of course. I'm not going to ignore the pluses, but it's still capitalism and it's still exploitation, like she said. So, like, I agree with everything she's saying. I do think like two things. I do think, and I've been guilty of this in the past. For me, you going back and forth. I do think she's like kind of overlooking, at least in the posting way, she's overlooking the benefits of this, like, the reformist movements of just, accumulating wealth while we're here. I don't want to discount that at all. Like, if people are giving themselves opportunities and their friends and opportunities, I don't want to, act like that's not helpful at all.
Yeah.
But also, if you're talking about Black abolition, basically, that's still very limited, because for me, like, abolition is about releasing all these identities. And when Blackness was something that was created to be commodified and exploited, at its foundation, can you have Black abolition without those same rules playing, in play? I don't think you can. I think you have to be willing to release all these things, have a completely new society, a whole cultural revolution, and that's what we keep coming back to. Are Black people willing to let go of these Black identities to get to where we say we want to be? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think what she's saying is still limited in that way.
Yeah.
But like, I get it. Like, yeah, people do be acting like owning the business is the end all be all, and that ain't it.
Yeah. I mean, me myself, like, I get what she's saying, but I'm more of the mindset, like, get it while you're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you always hear that statistic about like how soon the Black dollar leaves the community. Mm-hmm. It's some ridiculous number.
Bro, it's like 6 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous. Like, so, like, I mean, if we can keep that, I really do. I really want us to. It's so hard for me to figure out how we go to a different system, because literally all I can envision is us getting better in this system.
He's like Steve Harvey.
I can't even imagine a new system. This is all I've ever known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the crazy part is, like, I've never like really read up on communism or whatever, but I imagine that communism still somehow looks a little bit like this.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, Like, it's just the fact that, like, when you've never seen anything else,
yeah,
it's hard to imagine just anything.
So do you get people's points when they're trying to just get you to see that the only reason we're so deeply invested in this is because
I 100% understand.
Right. That's hilarious that you said about communism, because it's like the original like OG communism is like complete opposite. And we're not talking about like Russia, nothing like that. We're talking about like OG, just community, like she said, community owned, community voted on, like for the betterment of the people, society, which is completely different.
See, I imagine communism as everybody works, very few get rich, and a lot of handouts.
Capitalism 2.0, basically.
Literally. Capitalism with a little bit of, here you go.
A little bit of extra. Yeah. But how do you feel about her still holding on to this like radically Black society when we know what Blackness works as and is supposed to work for? And
I 100% agree with you. If we're gonna move to a new system, we gotta not be Black somehow.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Black in the world is meant to be at the bottom. Like, it's structurally designed for it to be at the bottom. And Mexicans, y'all close. And everybody else, all y'all non-whites, just filter yourself in and we'll figure out the hierarchy.
Right.
But yeah, man. If we're really going to truly move to a new system where Black people are not at the bottom, we have to cease to be Black people.
That's my philosophy, man. That's my philosophy. And I do want to say, like I said, I was guilty of this before too. But it's so interesting that she does not see the like people are trying to do the best they can with what they have now. Because part of the reason she stopped doing music was because like black audiences weren't supporting her like that, like weren't spending money to come see her at shows. And so it's like the very thing that would have kept her doing music is the thing like it feels like she's fighting against now, or they're speaking out against. I don't know about fighting, but they're speaking out against it now.
Yeah.
When if like black audiences were buying more tickets to her shows, like we would still be getting new Noname albums.
Was it the? So I've always wondered this, and I think I think Hove has talked about it a little bit, and Dave Chappelle, and I think basically Jay-Z said like, essentially, if you build it, they will come, right? Like, why do you only see white people at your shows now?
Mm-hmm.
This, that, and the third. Like, is it that artists are pricing themselves out of it? Or is it, you know what I mean? Because essentially, like, a lot of your core fans, they've been with you since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their money just didn't come up with yours. You know what I mean?
But was Noname tickets crazy like that?
I don't know. I'm just saying
I
as a
don't think
theory.
so. Yeah, I found it
They
like
still had $25 tickets out here. Like,
I don't think she her. I never went to a show. I want to go to a show. I don't think her tickets were out here like that. I think it's a myriad of reasons. I think more than anything, when you look at her last album,
shouldn't you be happy taking the white dollar?
I believe that you can feel. Oh, so okay, I believe in what you got to get to where you need to be. Right. That's what I believe in. So if I'm getting like we get white dollars, like how much I talk about abolition on this show, but I get white dollars every day at my job. I'm not anti-white or anything like that. It's just I believe in a different society. But like I'm not about to quit my job and just wait on abolition, even though there's already things happening. I'm gonna use this to get where I need to go. So I believe in like I'm gonna take this to put out even more black music because her last album was black as fuck. Like it was spicy black too. It wasn't just like fun revolution album. Like she was saying some shit, even though it was very catchy. She was saying some shit. So like if I can just take these people's money to keep putting out stuff like this, but I also feel like if it's bothering you that bad to be talking to black and black shit, you see a bunch of white faces saying nigga in the crowd because they're saying it. Like I get it. It's up to her discretion, I guess.
Yeah,
I would use it, but
I don't know. I think she's a little too locked in on. We need to fully get away from the system. Like we can progress in this system, and for y'all that want to get rid of it, we can work on that too.
But I will say, because you were a reformist, and I don't know if y'all fully get this. It is very hard. That's part of the journey. It's very hard when you can only vision people just doing the same thing over and over again. It's very hard not to accept that we can't just get there because y'all want to stay here so bad and y'all enjoy yourself there so much.
Yeah,
very hard to just.
Do you? So like, let's say like, right, you're trying to start up a new society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start up a whole new way of, I don't want to say government, but just economics or whatever, get rid of capitalism. But you still got your job. Are you fooling yourself? Like if you're investing in this society while say you want to create another society, like are you fooling yourself in a way?
I don't think so. If you know the truth and this is a process, like a cultural revolution, which I think is needed before any type of revolution, you need a cultural revolution first. Is needed before anything. That is a process. You're not going to do that within a year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. That's a whole like, let's rethink the way we do it in our day-to-day lives, not just politically, socially, in ourselves. Like let's relook how we look at ourselves. That is an entire intergenerational process that I cannot expect to see in my lifetime. I would love to see it in my lifetime, but I can't expect to see it in my lifetime. So knowing that's a process and doing whatever I can to help that process along, like, no, I think you can come to peace with that and just do what you got to do to live the happy life that you still deserve. Because I don't think you deserve to be miserable and just enraged all the time.
Yeah.
The Baldwin quote, which is the be conscious is to be in a constant state of rage. I think that's part of why he was so Baldwin was depressed as fuck, because that's all he thought about. And for me, like, I love Baldwin, but I can't do that because I love myself too. Like I love my mental state too much to just be constantly mad at every day, wake up the structural violence and just be angry all day. I can't do that to myself. You know what I mean? So I think you can know the truth, know it's a process. You're doing what you can. Things are going to work out the way they were going to work out. And I think, and this is the hardest thing that I think people have to do, in my opinion now, but I think this is very vital. You have to know that everybody has their role in this thing called life. So you need people to be like anti-abolition because you need people to be pro-abolition. So we can all just continue to work out human evolution in general, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if everybody was straight one way, everybody straight another way, like, we would still have like extreme issues, just like with the people's issues with social justice warriors being extreme positivity, no negative feelings, safe space. Like, you can't have a society like that. This is not, it's not sustainable. So once you realize we need each other and you just got to play your part and do what you can,
yeah,
I think you come to peace. But I think Noname is at that, like, she's at the uphill part of like, nah, burn this shit down, cuz like we can't wait. Like, we gotta do it now. And I think you come to a point of peace in your life. Like Angela Davis is the perfect example, where Angela Davis is still abolitionist, but she's not like as radical as she used to be. Like, she's an older woman. She needs to enjoy her life. Like, she's gonna do her thing. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if I was just talking about my head.
Makes sense to me, cuz.
So you on board? You good? You with it?
Makes sense. I'm with it though.
Well, did her thing like make you rethink? Like
it made me rethink the pitch of Buy Black. It did make me rethink it, but I still am with it because we got to get more. We have to profit off of ourselves somehow. We need to create wealth instead of letting our money go out to white people. I was gonna say the masses, but then I was white people.
Well, it is the masses, and that's what's so interesting that she said that blackness she essentially said blackness should only be profitable by black people. And I was like, blackness is made to be profitable by everybody. Like, black people had, I don't know how many black people had slaves back in the day, but black people owned property even during slave time. Black people had slaves. That's shit doing what it's supposed to do. So
it's working.
It's working exactly as it's supposed to.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Do you think sorry, nigga, I'm smoking on that loud.
I see see that.
Do you think it really matters to buy black? Like, because essentially, like, if you think about it, one level is profiting off of black people, right? If you buy black, just one level, just the owner of that business, right? But right after that, it goes right back out to the world. You know what I mean? So, like, does it really matter even if we do buy black, or because that's I guess the issue I have. Like, if only one level of person profits off of me in a good way, like not in a bad way, but then he goes in, his suppliers are all Chinese, and marketing is all white, and Facebook and all this other shit. Like, does it really matter, or are we just paying? Unfortunately, when you buy black, I feel like, or there's a stigma of it being higher priced.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, or am I just paying 10, 15, 20% more for nothing?
That's definitely a stigma. Like, the higher price and lower quality, that's definitely the stigma, I think.
I don't know about the lower quality. I'm not going to put that on it, but the higher price, I feel like, is a real thing.
I don't even put the higher price on it because I know that it takes money to start. Like, if you at the bottom, like, even if you like 5 years deep, like, you still, most businesses fail within the first 5 years, so you still on the up, trying to climb. So, but to your question, I'd argue that's how progress happens. Like, black people were in a better position than we were in the 1600s, in 1700s and 1800s. Like, it's like Frank Wilderson said on the show, like even though he's a Afro pessimist, like things with reform get a little bit better, and I think
Yeah.
that I'm learning to appreciate that a little bit better. Like I don't want to discount that a little bit better anymore because I used to be like, man, fuck that shit. Like, but I
I'm
want to
still
appreciate
down. Still down and out, nigga.
we still we still black, but like I want to appreciate that a little bit better because it is significant, and I see people again. I see people going out of their way to have as good business ethics as possible
Yeah.
by the black owners. Like, and, I'm a big For Harriet fan. I think Kim is a great example of someone who pays her employees well. Whenever she reaches out to her community for like input for like a little like one-off job, she pays people well. She doesn't try to get off on people. Just I'm gonna be on a platform for free just because I'm big. Like I see a lot of people doing stuff like that. So I think it still matters, man. I think it's important to see the bigger picture, but it still matters. Like I don't want to discount that.
Yeah.
And I feel like you feel the same way because you like. I remember we were going back and forth real hard with the whole Steve Harvey Earn Your Leisure conversation. I feel like you were mainly trying to get me to understand like the value of him as hyper capitalist as it is, the value in the advice he's giving
Yeah.
that's beneficial to some people.
No, I do. I do believe it. I just, I think we all just need to think about things. That's all. So.
Yeah, I agree, man. I wish social media was really meant to be a platform to have real discussions. That's what I wish.
It's not.
It would be so. Imagine if you could have like we have like a really good kickback conversation like after the party, like it's the initial like spades drinking da 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 da, and then like the die down happens and the niggas who are just like left hanging around just have like a really good conversation.
Yeah.
I wish that was social media of like after some hoopla happens, we can just actually have a good round table. Which you do have some once in a blue moon, but for the most part, you don't. Like a good, just like meaty round table of ideas, and even if nobody changes their minds, like people just understand each other better than just getting on the internet and just.
That's man, I tell you, like over Facebook, over Instagram, whatever that little chat room joint is, Mike. What's it called? The chat room joint, the app. The app.
The chat. Oh, you talking about oh God, Clubhouse.
That's really what it could have been.
Yes, yeah, that was supposed to be.
It was so perfect. It was so perfect for that.
It really was.
And it's not.
At all.
No, not.
At all. It is so disappointing. Like I check in the Clubhouse now and then just to look at some mess, just to see what niggas is messing about, and so disappointing. When that whole Tory and fucking Meg shit was full on, every room was just toxic as fuck.
Was it?
Every single one.
Wow.
It's disappointing, man. But yeah, man, we should get I want to reach out to Noname, see if we can get on the show, man.
Well, that'd be good.
That'd be super dope. Let's watch we had a guest anyway. So Noname, if you're watching, come through. Tell us why we wrong.
It'd be perfect since we don't have any money. You'll be
exactly.
you'll be with it.
You practice the socialism that you love so much.
All right, man. Let's get to this Thursday of the week, Mike. Who do you have?
If you want to put on the screen, I can put what? Oh, did you put it? I can't see. Oh, fantastic. Look at you. Oh, now it blocked out my screen. All right. What we have is Ariana Brown, who is a super, super dope poet, Black Mexican American poet, to be exact, with 13 years of experience writing, performing, and teaching poetry. She offers a list of services for college events, poetry slams, and local organizations. Her work focuses on Black relationality, queer kinship, and imagining a world where Black girls are free as fuck. She is currently accepting requests to do commissions and virtual events, so check her up on that. And I would definitely suggest that because she does this thing. I've hit her up before. She does these like weekly poetry prompts. The prompts be fire, son. The prompts be so fucking fire.
Are they?
They're so great. And she offers that, you tell her you did it and stuff, and she just gives you some positive feedback. Like, it's so dope. So definitely check out arianabrown.com. Book her for an artist talk, writing workshop, commission writing, poetry performances. She's a great performer too. Like, Will, you might actually like her because I know you be hating on the poetry niggas. She is
Bro, it's all about it's all about skill, and it's all about skill.
there's skill in erotic poetry, you know that, right? That's the
Not the stuff I've seen.
I don't know if she does erotic poetry, but she does like
We're just gonna rhyme sexy words together.
I would put you on. You like Ed Mabry's erotic poetry, don't you?
Who?
Ed Mabry. You love him, Ed Mabry.
Yeah, because he's skilled.
Well, who else is skilled is Ariana Brown. Please check her out. She's super dope. Hella cute, as you can see. Just a great person.
My dick so thick.
What?
Queen.
What you?
Ride it. All night with it.
It's not even rhyming.
I'll bust in your face. What a disgrace.
I've heard some shit like that before. Definitely. That's the problem with erotic poetry. Is it become for like regular open mic? It's become like, how outrageous can I get? Just get the most. It's like shock comedy. I feel the same about stand-up comedy. Like niggas just want to just like appall the crowd into laughter versus
You know
actually.
what, I know you would never do this, but we should review the worst YouTube erotic poetry.
Oh god.
I know you would never talk about an artist's work like that.
I wouldn't, because
But I would.
go ahead and do it, man. I'll mute my mic. But again, someone who's a great poet is Ariana Brown. Please check her out. Instagram is Ariana at Ariana the poet.
Bam.
Yes. Super great. Super great. All right, man. I think that's it. Any final thoughts on capitalism and being a terrible parent?
No, sir. Just watch who you sticking your dick into, or who you giving your vag to.
Or your strap. That's something can happen with that too.
You can't get pregnant from a strap.
This is 2023. Things might happen.
It's gonna have like ejaculate already in it.
They have stuff like that. I don't know if it's like real sperm, but they have shooting straps.
Yeah, I know that, but like I don't think real chromosome babies can shoot out.
I can assure you, it's some couple out there that wants the realest like experience possible, and they hit the sperm bank up and they fill it up, and then they have sex.
Sperm has to be at a certain temperature. Like it's gonna be a heated strap, so that the nah, son.
As someone who buys sex toys, I'm sure it exists. Like I'm sure
I gotta use my gift card. My little Nancy's gift card.
We're gonna use on butt plugs.
Huh?
You use on butt plugs. Butt plugs lit. You gonna give butt plugs?
No, we already got butt plugs.
Oh, plural. Okay. What you gonna list
plugs? I'm gonna do a little ball gag joint.
I can't even see you doing some BDMS shit like that.
Why would you? That's gay.
I'm just thinking, why'd you say it like Riley? Oh, seeing Terrence
like a nigga from New York that's like real uptight about his sexuality.
Right. Seeing Terrence how to be a mistress or some shit, that's fucking funny.
That would be funny. She would not be serious at all.
Why's that be her like hidden, like she was just waiting on that shit the whole time for you to break it out? Yeah, just beat the shit out of you. Yeah, man, come back on the show. Let us know what you bought it, what you spent. We had a secret. What do we call it? The gift card exchange.
You're saying a white elephant gift card.
Yeah, there you go. And I bought a gift card to the sex store, and Will picked it. So you gotta give people an update on what you got. I really want to have a sex. I don't have another sex episode. We gotta do something with that because I keep saying there's not enough like male sensuality spaces online.
No, it's not.
Like at all. So anyway, we'll see what he bought. Thank y'all for joining us. We're gonna be consistent, y'all. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're gonna remain consistent. And yeah, we love it. You're not Usher. Even though you got the Usher shaped head. Y'all got the same shaped head going. All right. Y'all hold it down. Peace.
Peace.